Togashi just showed us quickly how things are about to escalate. Right at the center of it, we have Chrollo, who is stewing on a fuse that he's about to light here. And I have some theories, so let's just talk about it.
Sometimes you gotta close the door to open a window.
First things first, before we get into the video, I just want to make sure, if you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe, and also consider supporting me on Patreon. We are trying to hit 100 patrons, which would be kind of cool. But anyway, Togashi focuses very heavily on the troupe within this chapter, showing us Nobunaga, Phaeton, and Finks, and also the vice boss of the Charter family here, as they are walking between the levels of the tiers of the ships here. Now, I want to say that this has been said before, but Togashi has truly encapsulated the sheer and colossal scale of this ship in this one panel, and in this chapter in general. For example, these tiny little dots right here are actually the gang that we just caught up with right here, and it has to be said, Togashi's vitality is definitely showing through, certainly shining through conveniently and beautifully in his artwork. There are many examples in this latest batch of chapters here where he's just absolutely cooked in terms of the artwork, and that's not even talking about the story itself, because, oh boy, within the past 6 chapters, think of how much has changed within Hunter. Like, oh, it's spicy. I can't even it boggles the mind thinking about it, but seeing the Black Whale in this perspective here really encapsulates the size of the playing field that everyone is actually just playing on right now, and it makes you wonder further about the scale of the world that they're sailing to and through right now. It's insane. But with the gang right now, they're heading through to the outermost layer of the Black Whale, and this is how the Charter family have been moving to and from between tiers. But it also doubles as a sewage processing plant between tiers 4 and 5, making tier 5 literally lower than the sewer, which I found kind of poetic given the setting. It's as if the royals see these peasants, these filthy peasants, lower than sewage. Well, at least some of the royals definitely do. Looking at you, Saraidik, looking at you. But once again, Nobunaga shows off his intellect and his tactical mind and his cunning, quickly realizing how both the Charter and the GU families manage this plan, but they're not actually doing the work themselves, and instead they actually have subcontractors and grunts all to see over it, which leaves the Haley free to murder any subcontractors and grunts as much as they want, and because they're not a part of the Mafia families, they're not going to start a war early, and it's also just leaving Morena's troupe here to just level up willy-nilly. Willy, I need to grow up. Anyway, remember the Mafia families? Like, they all have like a somewhat chain of respect. You can't just go killing each other willy-nilly. It needs to be organized and signed off by both bosses as a way to sort of keep it mutual and keep it respectful. It's really strange how it works out. It's like, oh, you can't kill this dude unless we kill this dude, and we have to organize like a Pistols at Dawn type thing. It's really weird, but Morena, she doesn't really care about any of that. In fact, her goal is ultimately it just lays in the utter, complete and utter destruction of the world. So she doesn't care who takes out who, or what actions are done by who, or when, or how. Any chaos is good chaos as far as she's concerned right now. But anyways, Nobunaga splits from the rest of the gang here as he goes off to question the Haley to get more information on this. Now, I'll be honest, Nobunaga is one of my favorite troupe members here outside of Chrollo, because, you know, Chrollo is the GOAT right there. But Nobunaga he's really shone through for me recently, especially with his dynamic with Henry, and I truly hope nothing bad happens to him. However, I would place money he's pretty safe, given how Hisoka seems to be in tier 1 right now, but I'll get into that. I'll get into Hisoka's whereabouts in a second, but at the rate that the Haley's powers are growing with Morena's contagion ability, I wouldn't be surprised if a group effort were to somewhat cause serious damage to him. After all, we saw how Yokotani's ability just removed him effortlessly from the hideout when Morena was there, and if all of these abilities manifest in a way to sort of protect Morena, and Nobunaga questions the Haley about her or their motives, it could present as a possible threat to Morena, and it could also present a very difficult situation for him, especially given in his last encounter he mentioned how this big dude here was a bad matchup for him already, and we didn't even get to see the rest of the abilities that were in that table, and that's just those group set right there. I mean, many abilities can just form to make even the most powerful Nen user look pretty meek in comparison. I mean, Hawkenberg is a big example of this right now. His ability it's definitely strong, but it requires a lot of folk to just power it up and fire it, whereas if it was Hawkenberg on his own, he kind of would be just like, you know, chowder. And since I have no doubt all of these players have all grown since then, they've all leveled up. So right now, I'm not really super confident about Nobunaga being alone. But it's also shown that Henry's clamshell, that was the tracker that they placed in Morena's hideout, is now actually transformed back into its regular form. Now remember, Nobunaga and Henry had a little bit of a side quest here to plant this device in chapter 399. Now I'm wondering if Henry turning the tracker back into a clam and vice versa would weaken its signal, and then it gets stronger once it's turned back, because I can't really think of a possibility why Togashi would specifically show this one page of it turning back. So let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas, if you can think of anything right there. I'd love to see your guys' ideas on that. But speaking of Henry, we get to focus on him and Zachary, and now figuring out that Lynch has actually indeed been murdered here. And Henry, being the clever little sausage that he is, he figures out that it wasn't actually Hisoka that killed Lynch, and he kind of has some part of the complete image, but like not really, because right now Henry and Zachary believe Lynch was killed by a fake Hisoka who'd possibly manipulated him, but they're not aware of Bonolov's ability to take on anyone's form, and I think it's unlikely someone who's impersonating Lynch because of the height discrepancy. They don't, as Henry mentions, he's not aware of anyone who can change the height at willy-nilly here, but as we know, Bonolov has definitely, he's done that already because he's gone from Lynch size to Hisoka size. So as it stands right now, Henry is on the tail of the Phantom Troupe, and Nobunaga is going back down to speak with the Haley family, and meaning this could all blow up in his face. I mean, again, I'm really scared for Nobunaga's fate here, and I don't like the way Togashi is playing with him here. It seems to be subconscious death flags just ringing off in my brain here, but we've got Henry who now wants it back in blood for killing Lynch, and alongside Zakuro here, meaning that the GU now has a reason to start a possible conflict with the Shah family, who the Troupe are now sort of partnered with for the time being. And to add even more fuel into this fire, imagine a scenario where Henry comes across Nobunaga, who is speaking to a member of the Haley family who's come back down to question. Listen, all I'm saying is right now, I really do not like the situation that Nobunaga is in right now, and I believe he walks away from the conflict if any conflict does break out, but not without any wounds. I am genuinely scared, and if he does come away with wounds, it could potentially leave him weak to be picked off by Hisoka should he return to tier 1 to regroup with like Finks and Phaeton where they're heading, or up to the higher levels. I don't know, man. Anyways, moving further into the chapter, we regroup with Chrollo, who's present at Hawkenberg's funeral. Remember, all of that's happening, because holy fuck. And he's using an ability from someone known as Narumi Makgait. Now, this ability is basically an ability that allows Chrollo to find his quote-unquote ideal partner using a conjured phone after inputting the criteria. Now, it's not explicitly stated within this chapter, but I'm almost 99% certain that this is indeed Hisoka that he's looking for. Again, it's never stated who it is that he's looking for. He just says, can't find this person, or it's this someone. It's very ambiguous who it is, but one of the reasons I do say that it is I think it is Hisoka here is it's due to the response of the phone and what it says to him. It tells him that the person is unavailable, and Chrollo mentions how it was the same in Heaven's Arena. Now, I can't think of another person who Chrollo would be looking for in Heaven's Arena outside of Hisoka. So let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas of who this might be that he's looking for here. Who else was present at Heaven's Arena that sort of matches that? Could it be another member of the Phantom Troupe? Could it be someone else? Who knows? But we do get a little reminder of Chrollo's true goal here, or the Phantom Troupe's true goal, and that is basically to steal the Kakine treasures here. The Seed Urn, the Zen Buddha, and the Blade of the Divine Guidance. Now I'm pretty sure we've only ever seen the Seed Urn before. I don't think we've ever seen the Zen Buddha or the Blade of Divine Guidance here. I don't think I've ever seen these before. So yeah. But also, we don't only get these, we also get the why. You see, it turns out that Chrollo, as we learned in the latest chapters, he needs an ability to ensure Hisoka stays dead this time. No more of that pesky ass post-mortem then bringing him back and revitalizing him. And those 3 treasures that he's looking at right now are a source of the most powerful Nen that is basically fueling the entirety of the Succession War here, and they also just coincidentally perfectly fit the conditions for Chrollo to evolve his Skill Hunter ability. You see, Chrollo's Nen ability is probably one of the most powerful in the series. With a bit of planning and prep time, this dude is basically just Batman. There isn't much that he can't do with this ability. Obviously, there's a lot of restrictions. The bigger the restrictions, the more powerful his abilities get, but we saw how he evolved Skill Hunter in his first fight against Hisoka, and just how quickly Hisoka was overwhelmed here. But Chrollo is aiming to take this power even further, and the artifacts will be the way to do that. But he is torn between these 2 goals, as it's if he's stuck for choice and what he wants to do here. And as he mentions, balancing these 2 opposing goals is becoming increasingly difficult. Patience is a virtue, but I can't afford to wait around, and I'm taking the risk of encountering Hisoka before I am fully prepared for combat. but that's not a significant concern for me at this stage. Now, this is where I believe Togashi is going absolutely crazy with the artwork. Like, actually, that's the wrong way. This is absolutely where Togashi went crazy with the artwork, because this showing of Chrollo right here, he's showing Chrollo in the most menacing light that I think we've ever seen him. And his face here deeply reminds me a lot of Hisoka during their fight. This is the face of a man who's stopping at nothing to secure his goal. He's not even death will stop him. Now, I've got some theories. Speaking of death, I've got some theories. You see, Chrollo right now, his main plan is to basically evolve Skill Hunter by stealing a national treasure that will fulfill the conditions to allow that Skill Hunter to evolve. This in turn will give him the rare and powerful abilities to ensure Hisoka's permadeath, no more respawns. However, he also mentions that even though he's not fully prepared for combat, it's not a significant concern for him at this stage. The alternative plan is already in place, and the spider will survive, even if I die. Now, I personally believe right now Chrollo has the power to kill Hisoka, and I mean, he did it once, so why could he not do it again? I mean, he could even potentially just use the exact same method. There's more people on the Black Whale right now than there was at the Heavens Arena that are available to him. I mean, if this, let's just say hypothetically, this fight was to take place at the Hawkenberg funeral right now, look at how many people are here. There was enough people for him to use as bait, basically, to lure Hisoka into the same sort of scenario here. But I also believe that he is very confident that he can do it again. However, if he does engage in the fight, I also believe Chrollo right now may give his life via some sort of post-mortem then to maybe even curse Hisoka, because the wording and the imagery of Chrollo here makes me think something extremely sinister is going on with him, especially with the emphasis on curses within this arc. Chrollo is planning something very, very scary for Hisoka. But I believe he'd avoid the possibility of his death in the fight, and that's why he's seeking out the Kark inactive artifacts. I think he would like to avoid that possibility, but if push comes to shove, he's not afraid to do it. But I think it's just more of a backup plan, as he mentions. But this chapter, it went absolutely crazy. Again, it feels like Togashi has, since we got back on this latest batch from chapter 400, it feels like Togashi has just been pedal to the metal, all systems go with everything that is happening in here. So I'm really excited to see where he keeps going with this. It has genuinely been a really fucking good ride, and Togashi seems to be healthy right now, and I'm excited to see where everything goes. But anyways, that's everything from me. If you've not already, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and as always, consider supporting me on Patreon, because it does help me, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Much fucking love. Big fucking kisses. Peace.